that there's a Senator Murphy met with the Iranians. Is that a fact? I just saw that on the way over. Is there anything that I should know? Because that sounds like to me a violation of the Logan Act.
President Trump right there basically detailing a cabal led by Chris Murphy of Democrat senators meeting with the Iranians without the blessings of the administration. By the way, the president sets foreign policy, not members of Congress. Joining us now, Alireza Jafarzadeh, Deputy Director of the Washington office of the National Council of Resistance of Iran. Sir, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you so much. Great to be on your show.
Throughout the impeachment process, the Democrats accused the president and Rudy Giuliani of undertaking a shadow foreign policy, yet Rudy had the blessings of the president. The Democrats did not. Aren't the Democrats guilty of exactly what they accused Rudy Giuliani of doing?
Well, I don't know about the politics of this. What I do know is like what I see today. A senator of the U.S. government actually meeting secretly with the representative of the world's leading state sponsor of terror. I think this is the news that people should focus on. Think about it. What kind of a message is sent to the terrorists themselves, and what kind of a message is sent to the people of Iran who are victims of this regime? Remember, Zarif represents a regime that is the world's leading state sponsor of terror. He is himself designated by the U.S. government. A number of agencies that he works very closely with are designated as a foreign terrorist organization, including the Quds Force that worked very closely with Zarif, including the Quds Force commander Qasem Soleimani, who was, the top terrorist who was taken out. Including the Minister of Intelligence, has been designated for many years. And this meeting just legitimizes the killing and terrorism by the Iran regime, but also it sends a wrong message to the people of Iran who have been protesting against this regime for months and months. Just past November, 1,500 people, innocent people, were killed by the Iran regime by direct shooting of the Revolutionary Guards against them. It was a passenger plane that was downed by the Iran regime, and Zarif was busy just beguiling people and justifying it. And the regime hasn't even turned over the black box of that plane. And what's the whole point of meeting, with this regime representative and just legitimizing everything it's doing?
No, I think that's fair, and I'll just clue you in a little bit about the politics that happens over here. The Democrat Party here in this country has a long tradition of undermining sitting presidents who are tough with the very barbarians you describe, the radicalized Islamic fundamentalist terrorist regime of Iran oppressing the Iranian people. Back in the Soviet era, the Soviet Union, equally oppressive, equally murderous regime, and Ronald Reagan stood up to that regime, and the Democrat Party in this country sought to undermine that strong stance. So it seems whenever there is a dictator with his boot on the throat of people all over the world, whether it be the Soviet Union, whether it be the Iranian regime that you just described, they have no better friend than the Democrat Party, and that's why Senator Chris Murphy had to have his meeting with other Democrat senators in secret rather in full view. So that's the politics here. But let me ask you, how emboldened do you think the people involved in Tehran are by meeting with sitting Democrat senators to just basically wait out to see how the election goes, to see if they can continue their reign of terror so the Democrats will give them an easy go of it? Do you see that scenario playing out?
Well, certainly the Iranian regime wants to see, differences, divides in the United States, trying to see how it can exploit it. The Iranian, what you want to do, you want to send a very decisive message to the Iranian regime that whether they're Democrats or Republicans, whether it's in the House or the Senate, the administration or otherwise, the world is condemning the regime. You want to stand against the Iranian regime. Remember, this guy, Javad Zarif, who poses as the regime's foreign minister, his own embassies have been involved, not long ago, I'm just talking about the past 2 years, involved in a series of terror operations, terror plots. As we speak, Europe has expelled 7 Iranian regime diplomats because of their involvement in terrorism. Another diplomat is in jail, so-called diplomat is in jail in Belgium because he turned over a powerful explosive to two other culprits to take it to Paris to detonate it in a very large gathering of Iranian opposition. Some 100,000 people had gathered to listen to the opposition leader, Mrs. Maryam Rajavi, and of course the terrorists were caught just before they were able to, operate it. There were, many U.S. citizens of European countries, Iranian nationals who were there. Just think about it. What would have happened if Zarif and his culprits had succeeded in doing that? So what you want to do, whether Democrats or Republicans, the key thing is that the Iranian regime is the leading state sponsor of terror. You don't want to embolden them. And the way not to embolden them is to be firm against them, to stand against them, to hold them accountable for their terror operations. If the regime downs a plane and just plays around and lies for 3 days and only coughs up after it's exposed and doesn't even turn over the black box, you don't go and meet with them and praise them. If the regime kills 1,500 people in the streets, what you do, you condemn them, you stand firm against them, you put sanctions on them, you stand on the side of the people who want nothing but freedom. The real allies of the United States and Europe are actually the people of Iran and the organized opposition who want to unseat the Ayatollahs, who are the biggest threat, not just to the people of Iran, but to the United States and Europe.
No, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because after you said that it would take a bold stance against a terrorist regime like the Iranians, and that's what this president delivered. The killing of Qasem Soleimani, a worldwide terrorist, had the blood of hundreds of Americans on his hands, and he took a strong stand. And it seems to me the message being sent by Democrats is, oh, we're very sorry we took out your terrorists. That seems to be how this is all playing out because of this secret meeting. How is it received in the streets of Iran?
Well, certainly nothing is received well in the streets of Iran when they see that their killers, their terrorists, are being somehow, pampered or given a way out. Remember, Javad Zarif, the foreign minister, was a very, very close ally of Qasem Soleimani. They met regularly, according to Zarif himself, almost once a month in Tehran, coordinating their activities, what they do, both in terms of the killings in Iran, but most importantly, running the terror operation, the Shia militia operations, the proxy operations of the Iran regime, whether it's in Iraq, in Syria, in Lebanon, and other places, according to their own confessions. So when Qasem Soleimani got what he actually deserved, it made the people in the streets of Tehran very, very happy. They were, spreading sweets and just jubilant.
I know, and right, yeah, exactly. Right from your lips to God's ears, because they were happy, and it just flummoxes me why the Democrat Party in this country would want to undermine that. Mr. Jafarzadeh, sir, out of time. Thank you very much for being here on the Chris Salcedo Show. We appreciate your time and expertise. When we come back, a victory for the Second Amendment on the Chris Salcedo Show on NewsMax.